What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of, you guessed it, Corner to Corner Radio is live on Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com, prowrestlingradio.net. Myself, Stan Grubb, and my tag team partners. The triple threat is complete. Rob Hefner.
Well, greetings and salutations.
And Brian Taylor.
Shh, they go live in about a minute.
Please excuse Brian. He's waiting for Ask the Elite. And, of course, we are joined, as always, by the one, the only, the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Lane. What's going on, Edward?
Greetings, good evening, how you doing? If you're a fan of the world of professional wrestling, your ticket price does not include you reaching out and hitting a wrestler. That's a good way to go to jail, if not the emergency room.
For the record, do not touch the talent.
Who got arrested?
Nobody got arrested. They talked about this a little bit earlier this evening on Beyond Ringside. There was an incident at Global Championship Wrestling where the one and only, the man himself, Wicked Nemesis, better known as Enoch Tazarian, was doing his managerial duties. A fan decided to take it upon himself and reach out and put a hand on him, which is a great big no-no. Not much less for Wicked Nemesis, but for wrestling in general. And he got dealt with. He, as I understand it, as I read the commentary on Facebook this morning, the gentleman was shoved backwards by Wicked Nemesis, and there proceeded to be a huge amount of backlash on Facebook from angry... Eddie, what was the term you used?
Hillbilly
Fans, one of which couldn't type a sentence to save her skin. But it was amusing to read.
Oh, and I'll go one better. When security came over to try to help quell the situation, the so-called mother had more expletives flow out of her mouth in 1 minute than an Andrew Dice Clay concert that takes 90 minutes.
Damn. That sounds pretty serious right there.
Some people should never be allowed out of their little rubber room.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's not a bright move to, start putting your hands on people. I mean, Wicked doesn't really like people touching him at all anyway. He's just not a touchy-feely kind of guy. But once he's out there at ringside, once he is in full-on Wicked Nemesis mode, you're just taking your life in your hands. I mean, it's stupidity at its finest to sit there and think that you're going to get away with it, much less just, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember a time in professional wrestling at all where there was actually an incident like that where somebody didn't get hurt. I mean, you can look back at WCW during the Monday Night Wars, fans jumping in the ring and getting the crap kicked out of them, whether it was by Dean Malenko, or, of course, there's the one that a lot of us remember from Randy Savage, holding the guy down and punching the lights out of this guy. It's dangerous. You can't get yourself involved in those types of incidents and then expect to come away unscathed. And there's a video up on Facebook that actually Wicked posted that basically tells the story where the guy was angry, saying he wasn't going to leave, and he had paid for his ticket, blah blah blah, and somebody tells him he better leave or he's going to go back to the hospital. So, damn shame. Can't be putting your hands on people. Can't put your hands on the talent. Just don't do it.
Agreed.
So
now, Brian is sitting upstairs with his beanbag chair and his phone, naked, waiting for the elite.
You forgot eating a bag of Cheetos.
Don't hate the player.
Thug Life. He didn't choose to be Thug Life. Thug Life chose him. Oh boy, Brian, man, you have thoughts on should be touch the talent?
No,
no thoughts.
No, well, I mean, you literally have to be a moron Because you have to understand, you're taking your life in your own hands.
Yes.
I mean, some of these guys, are trained in so many different moves, and a lot of these wrestling holds, if applied correctly, will snap a bone. If the person wants, and you're just an idiot to climb up in the ring with one of these guys and think that you're just gonna, take it to them.
Yeah, I mean it's dangerous for all parts involved. If it gets out of hand, you got kids that are there; they can get hurt because of the ruckus. You got other fans that can get injured aside from the kids. Plus, there's a possibility of the talent getting hurt. Unlikely, but I guess it's possible. And it hurts not on purpose, but it kind of hurts the image of the show as well because Eddie, to my knowledge, GCW is family friendly.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, it just doesn't play out well for anybody involved, and you're not going to be able to convince whether it's Wicked Nemesis, Eddie Lane, or the brand new guy that's helping to set up the ring. You're not going to be able to convince them that it's okay for you to touch one of the talent. It's just not smart. If you're within the sounds of our voice, if you can hear us, put your hands upon your computer screen and say it with me. Do not touch the talent.
Can you say it? Everybody say it at once. Do not touch the talent.
Or you can do it like I've been saying it for the last 20 hours or so. Hey, ding dong. You can looky. You can tippy. You're not touchy. Oh, wait, wrong bar.
Yeah.
Well,
the professional wrestlers are just like another man's woman. You can look, but you can't touch.
Zoom into that. Or if they ever come over to shake your hand, you can be like me and just give them the awkward, I don't know what to do with my hands thing.
I know, but the difference is, Stan, you're supposed to do a fist bump or a shake, not grab them.
Well, I mean, how am I supposed to know that Sheamus isn't a hugger?
You're like, I'll just give you a hug.
But Sheamus is a hugger.
Yeah! I mean, my theory is just like you all. In any profession, professional wrestlers, it's no different. I mean, you wouldn't go onto a professional football field and start pushing around the quarterback because he's not doing what you want.
Right.
You wouldn't like at the Daytona 500, you wouldn't crawl over the fence, walk out in the middle of the track, start pointing your fingers at Tony Stewart and say, "Step on the gas, a-hole." Just because the fan, that one thing that is great about professional wrestling is that you're close to the action. They involve who's there in the action. And it only takes one drunk person. That's why I've always said, yes, alcohol makes a lot of money at these things, but I don't even know if alcohol was involved, but it just sounds like it was. So, I mean, alcohol makes money, but then people get stupid.
Right.
It's just like a football game. Football games are great to go to until the first drunk jerk starts talking. And then the fight starts happening. And then everybody, the next thing you're wondering is, all right, where's the next fist going to come from? So I just,
point.
Just sit, enjoy the show, stay in your chair. You paid for the seat. You tell everybody, I bought my ticket, I got a seat. Well, then sit in the damn thing.
Sit down and shut up.
No, don't shut up.
Well, for that guy, yes, he should sit down and shut up. He should sit on his couch.
I like going to events like that, and you see the person who is so drunk that they're now at they're in the point of being drunk that's uncomfortable. So they're just sitting there staring at everything and you're like, dude, you are hating life right now.
So we go from the awful to the amazing. We have got an awesome interview tonight with the one and only PWX World Champion. He is most recently been in Joppa, Maryland for Evolve 78 against Matt Riddle. He took part in a fatal four-way with Fred Yehi, Chris Dickinson, and Austin Theory last night at Evolve 79. We saw him first at MCW in Joppa, Maryland, against the one and only Leo Rush. Tonight we will be joined by Anthony Henry. We've been talking about it. We got him coming on tonight in a little bit. Guys, I am pumped up for this interview. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Henry's a up-and-comer. I mean, he's been at this for a while, but I haven't watched too many of his matches that were less than stellar. So I'm looking forward to it.
I just watched the Eddie Edwards match, and it was stellar. And then the match with him that night in Joppa with Leo Rush. That was a multi-star match. It was probably the match of the night. Definitely the match of the night. You know, far superior than the Hardys and the Expedition. But yeah, uppercomer. He won't be on, in my opinion, he won't be on the regional local circuit long.
No, I mean he's got a resume that's pages and pages of just awesome opponents. Rob mentioned Eddie Edwards, and then you've got, of course, Leo Rush. You've got Matt Riddle. You've got spoken to him before, Jimmy Rave, Steve Carino. I mean, the guy that won Style Battle 2, which is Tracer X, who, in my opinion, is a relative unknown, but he's very well known in the Carolinas. You've got so many talented people that are coming out right now. It's amazing to me that wrestling is just growing at such a breakneck pace. Rob just said it. I mean, I would not be surprised if we see this guy on NXT or TNA or even Ring of Honor in a very, very short amount of time. Folks, if you'd like to get yourself caught up, get prepared, or learn more about some of these matchups and gentlemen we're talking about, you're going to want to go to flowslam.tv. They are the official provider or internet pay-per-view provider for Evolve, Full Impact Pro Wrestling, House of Hardcore, Shine. There is also ACW, PWX, and of course what I just mentioned, Style Battle. And there's so many different types of wrestling there. For example, Evolve 78 saw Timothy Thatcher defending the Evolve Championship against Fred Yehai in what I can only describe as an old school style beatdown just between the two of these guys, just a bruiser kind of feel, very old school wrestling. Not a lot of flash and flare as far as moonsaults or backflips or whatever. It was ground and pound, suplexes, punches, kicks, forearms, but it had a great feel to it. And then, of course, coming out of Evolve 79, the Evolve Championship changes hands. Timothy Thatcher, after 539 days as the Evolve Champion, Timothy Thatcher loses to a personal favorite, Zack Sabre Jr., winning the Evolve Championship last night. In what many have described as a 5-star matchup. I look forward to checking that one out. I was getting myself actually up to speed on Mr. Henry's weekend of work that it's been on flowslam.tv. So, this guy speaks for itself. We will get to him here in just a few minutes. He's going to be joining us here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. We're excited to talk to the one and only Anthony Henry. Also going on this week, we'll talk more about it after we're finished with Mr. Henry, but this one just begs to be mentioned. Tom Phillips, WWE commentator in the news. Apparently, Mr. Phillips got a little frisky on the internet over the weekend.
You know, text about your PP.
You know, you'd think at this age and stage of social media that celebrities would learn the lesson of not making these attempts through social media. You're just begging. You're begging for somebody to expose you. Basically, go ahead, Rob.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to give the quick rundown. Basically put, Tom Phillips was flirting with somebody through through social media. I'm not sure exactly the first platform that he used, but apparently he was hitting on this lady and asking her out on a date. All the while, Mr. Phillips is engaged. Well, as soon as the lady that he was texting catches wind of this, she exposes everything that's been sent, including some not-to-be-repeated statements that Mr. Phillips uses in apparently private chat through Snapchat. But, I mean, if you're a celebrity of any type, whether it's a guy like Tom Phillips or, and this is just an example, I'm not saying he'd ever do it, but like a guy like George Clooney, you have to know from top to bottom, everything you do is being watched and scrutinized. So somebody's going to find out. Somebody is going to catch you, and you're going to end up paying the price for it.
I mean, I think, those of us who are wrestling fans have been sitting here wondering what we could do to help, or what would be the option of the announce table at, the battalion that they have there at the SmackDown Live broadcast table. Well, I think we finally are down one. I mean, it's just, you got, in this day of, correctness and all this stuff, I mean, yes. The comment was made earlier that he's probably not the only one that does it. He's probably not. But in the age-old rule, he's the one that got caught.
Right.
He may not be the only one that does it. He's probably not. It's probably standard practice for some. But you know what? They didn't get caught, and it's not broadcast everywhere. So, sorry, Mr. Phillips. I think it's time for you to fall on your sword and, maybe he can help catalog stuff at the warehouse. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Tom Phillips has done commentary for SmackDown. He's done interviews for Raw and SmackDown. He was one of the voices of NXT, and of course, he did a lot of the pre-shows, the social media lounge, Raw Talk. I think he even did a brief stint on Talking Smack, but I don't quote me on that. I'd have to go back through it. But, I mean, it's disappointing for him. I'm sure he's going to end up paying, much like Joey Styles did for making a stupid comment on the air. I think Mr. Phillips will end up learning a tough lesson about being professional. Yeah, he's probably not long for WWE.
I mean, because in the age of what we're dealing with, I mean, how many people have been fired for doing less?
Well, I mean, Hogan made a sex tape. he got kicked to the curb.
How many years before, though? WWE knew about the sex tape and didn't do anything.
That's right. That's very true. That's a great point.
They knew about it. They were just like, oh, well, it's like, it's out there.
I mean,
I think you two are going to get them fired. Because I don't see it as a big deal. So, as much crap as some of the rest of them have done, this is peanuts. So,
why you got to refer to nuts?
I said peanuts. You referred to nuts.
No, you said it.
I said peanuts.
Well, I mean, for some people, maybe that's what they call it. I don't know.
Apparently, that's what you call it because that's what you got on your chin. Bam. Bam.
But then they wouldn't be.
Even listening to the elite and this, I can still deliver. Bam.
Brian, have they asked you any questions yet?
No, they're talking about all types of crazy stuff.
No, because the restraining order isn't lifted yet.
Oh, it's Brian again. What's he asking this time?
Yeah, Brian. They have the camera on, and Brian's sitting there in his Bullet Club Snuggie.
Too sweepy, bro.
Please.
Please. Oh boy. So Fastlane is coming this coming Sunday. We'll talk about our predictions a little bit later. Chris Jericho did not show up on Raw, but read that while touring in Germany, Jericho made an appearance came out to greet the crowd and was subsequently beaten down again by Kevin Owens. That's not a good thing for old Y2J.
Oh, wow. And in typical WWE fashion, we now have, a world title scene that's all but muddled on SmackDown. It's
Again.
like, really? It's like, what the hell?
Well, I mean, you get the feeling that they're leading to something with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, but it's like they're trying to stretch it out a little bit longer than it's really meant to be. I can't really see the feud between Wyatt and Orton lasting really a long time.
I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it a triple threat match. One more triple threat match for a world title.
Well, did you see when on the end of SmackDown when Wyatt came on the big screen and Orton was there? Did you notice where Orton was looking for half the interview?
Title.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all a work. Obviously, it's a work. But, I mean, it's just, when will Orton turn?
Well, that'd be interesting. So what are the odds, you think? What are the odds that Bray Wyatt comes out of WrestleMania as champion?
Slim to none. Again, I think, well, I guess it depends on, to me, what kind of match you get put into. So somehow or another, I think Randy Orton's going to be in that match. So, and then that'll be a 2-on-1, basically. So, but that's just me. Who's got the TV up?
I don't know. I can hear it. What we got going over on the background here? Who's watching what?
I am watching nothing right now.
Rob.
Rob.
Robert.
What?
What you watching, buddy?
I told you I was watching Oak Island.
Are we boring you, sir?
There we go. That's better.
That's a man of the people right there.
Yes, man of the people. Man of the people. And I wish they'd hurry up and get to the bottom of that damn well.
Oh, they pulled up parts of a treasure box and some metal.
Yeah, see, they found a sword one last year or something. Last year.
Yeah. And a gold button, and they pulled this piece of metal with drill holes in it, and the lady analyzed it, said it was probably most likely used for holding treasure chests together.
Wow, nice. Good job. All right, now we're staying back to wrestling. All right, so if I got enough time...
Nope.
Shut up. Rising Honor was on today from New Japan and Ring of Honor. And at the end of the first one, Omega and Cole kind of had a little disagreement. So that could play out in here before it's all said and done. Hello?
Omega and Cole.
Yes.
That could be a good matchup between the two of them.
Yes, because it looks like that Omega is, for the Bullet Club, and Cole wants to run the Bullet Club. So it ended with Omega saying, "This is my ring," and Cole saying, "No, this is my ring." So there could be a match somewhere down the line.
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah. So,
of course, Rising Honor, you said it was called?
Yeah, I think it's Rising Honor. Honor Rising. I think it's Honor Rising. I'm sorry. Honor Rising. It's a 2-day affair between New Japan and Ring of Honor. Started yesterday. Finished, I guess it'll finish tomorrow. So, had some pretty decent matches. So, pretty good matches. Adam Cole and Kenny Omega wrestled the Briscoes. That was really good. And then Cody Rhodes and another friend of ours, the Hangman, took on Lethal and Shibata, I think it is. And that was really good, too. And it's setting up a Cody versus Shibata match somewhere down the line. So that was really good, too. I enjoyed it.
Well, that should be a hard-hitting matchup for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some potatoes thrown that neither one was too receptive on. So it'll be a good one when it finally comes to pass. But there's your New Japan Pro Wrestling Ring of Honor news for the day.
Our roving reporter, Brian Taylor, on location.
And for Eddie's sake, I'm not going to tell you the results of the Young Bucks versus War Machine. So,
Adam Cole,
baby. Well, I don't know, man. If he splits, I don't know if I can do it no more. You know, he'll cut me deep. So, really deep. But, you know, who knows if the rumor's true about Adam Cole, that he may be looking to go up north, and this may be the way to take the title off of him.
Be interesting to see if Kenny Omega could get the Ring of Honor title.
I think they'd be foolish not to give it to him. However, well, I guess the good thing would mean that he would then have to wrestle more over here, and there might be a better chance that we could go see him. But it would just be interesting if they did it.
Yes, indeed. So, here's what we're going to do here. We're going to go ahead and take our first break of the evening. When we come back, we are going to be joined by the PWX World Champion, Anthony Henry. So, stick with us right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. For Corner to Corner, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Corner right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. We're back from our break there. Appreciate everybody who's joining us, whether you are in the United States of America, in the UK, and all points in between. We're happy to have you. We're working to be joined in moments by the one and only PWX World Champion, Anthony Henry. We'll be talking to him in just a few moments. Excited to get a chance to talk to one of the standouts from this weekend's Evolve events. Should be a good one. We were just, while working on getting him on the air here with us, talking about some of our autographs, and Brian was going through this extensive list of just name after name after name after name. Brian, is there anybody's autograph that you want really badly that you don't have?
I guess right now would be
Adam Cole.
No, it'd be Omega, the Bucks, or Okada's. So that would be a pretty good one. Because I've got all the Horsemen. I don't have them on the same item, but I've got all the Horsemen, the originals. So those would be the only other ones. But since I've got them, we're going with some new ones. So
I'd like to get Zack Sabre Jr. and honestly, I'd like to. I want to talk to the guy too. I want to get an autograph and maybe a picture with Fred Yehi. He's pretty cool. Really got to get you guys more deeply involved with Evolve. So it's a gold mine share. It's gold.
It was my bad that we didn't go see him Friday. So it just came at a bad time. So
definitely would have been a much more effective usage of my time.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. There's always next time, right? Right.
There's always tomorrow. Oh, I guess I've done the point here.
Stan, if you would, you might want to go and take about a 60-second or 90-second break.
Cool. We're going to go ahead and just do a quick reset. Come back. We will be talking to the PWX World Champ himself, Anthony Henry. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? It's Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Wrestling Radio and the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Hey, join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as the triple threat of wrestling radio goes live every week, giving you their thoughts and opinions on the world of professional wrestling. Myself, Brian, and Rob, all live, all here for you. And as my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. BeyondRingside.com and ProWrestlingRadio.net. Welcome back, everybody, to Corner Wrestling Radio right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. We are, of course, broadcasting live from BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net. The triple threat is in the house. Myself, Stan Grubb, Brian Taylor.
Hello.
Rob Hefner.
Well, hello there.
Of course, our producer, Fast Eddie Lane.
Remember, do not touch the talent, and for the love of God, don't throw bottles or cans, you cretins, unless it's a fan-bring-the-weapon match.
And we are joined by...
That would be fun.
That actually sounds kind of scary, to be honest. Don't throw the bottles. We are joined tonight by the PWX World Champion. This guy has had a hell of a 2 weeks. Last night, taking on a fatal four-way with Fred Yehai, Chris Dickinson, Austin Theory. The night before with Matt Riddle, and he's just on a roll. He's gone nuts. We first saw him at MCW Pro up in Joppa taking on Leo Rush. A lot of you are familiar with Leo Rush, but I am positive that you are familiar with our guest tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Anthony Henry. Anthony, welcome to the show, sir.
What's up, guys? What's up? Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Let's get down to business. What you guys want to talk about?
Man, well, let's go ahead and just get started. We'll do some of the preliminaries because I think a lot of people, when we talk to folks, we try to get the basics. You know, how did you start? Who was your trainer?
Yeah, I have an interesting story. I think is interesting is that I started off backyard wrestling, like a lot of guys seem to have done at some point in their life, and I was doing that, and I was kind of content with just doing that with my friends, and we were actually doing it at a park, local park in Augusta, Georgia, and a security guard that was this, the park security or whatever, he was there. He didn't stop us, but we were at the park actually doing this and going across the picnic tables and stuff and doing all this wacky stuff, and after we were done, he actually approached us and was like, hey, there's this school, up the road. It was only like 5 minutes away. So a couple weeks later, me and my friends, we went up, we checked it out. We took our first bumps, and we started. And my two friends, they ended up quitting a few months later. I stuck with it. And it was one of those things where it wasn't a great school. It was a school where I had a ring. I had some other guys in there to bump around with me, and I at least learned how to bump and had a place to kind of get started. But as far as like who I really would call my trainers, once I started traveling from Augusta, Georgia, and got out a little bit, I found NWA Wildside, which was a very popular place back in like the early 2000s. And I went there and was doing their shows and stuff and ended up moving down there for a while. And I would say these guys were my trainers. That would have been Sal Renaro and Todd Sexton, who was running the school at that time. And I kind of got retrained by those guys.
Looking through just your early resume and some of the matchups that you had, I mean, you were competing with some pretty top-notch names at a very early time. I mean, of course, you mentioned Sal Rinauro, but just in looking through some of the folks that you've come into contact with just over your career, was there any one guy that, aside from Mr. Rinauro, that pulled you aside and kind of gave you, the advice that kind of turned the light switch on for you?
I would say more recently, because I tell a lot of guys this, because when guys find out like how long I've been doing this stuff, they're like, "Oh wow, like where have you been?" or whatever. And I'm like, my thing is that although I've been in it since technically 2002, I did take a hiatus at one point and was doing fighting and the MMA stuff. But even besides that, I don't really count what I was doing up until about 2012, because that's when I really was like, okay, let's see how good I am, or let's see, what I can do with this. So, I mean, but I have had a few guys help me along the way. One of the first guys that really helped me was a guy named Jeremy Vane. He was also from the Wild Side system, but he also runs a promotion called APW, Alternative Pro, in Royston, Georgia. And he helped me a lot with just some psychology stuff and really helped molding who I was. And then from there, it was just PWX. Once I got to PWX and got to work with all those guys, I got better and better just so quickly.
Well, because to me, after watching you, I checked out some more of your matches besides just the one from Maryland. And to me, you're not a traditional American-style wrestler. You're more of a fusion with a different bunch of styles.
Right.
Who would you, say, growing up was influential in you developing those styles?
Man, the way my personality, man, I would go in phases. I was an RVD mark for a long time. And then I later on, I got into Benoit and Guerrero and Angle and those guys. And then even past that, I got into guys like Low-Key and more of the Japanese style guys. And, if anything, I guess when guys look at my style, I guess they kind of can see some of the martial arts stuff and what I guess quote unquote stiff strikes and stuff like that and submission stuff. And so I guess more than anything, that would come from guys like Low-Key and Danielson and just watching other actual just Japanese, New Japan and All Japan and stuff like that.
Thank you.
No, I mean, when you look at just over time, and looking at you went from Wildside to NWA Anarchy, you've of course wrestled for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. We actually have a lot of interaction with the guys over at AWE. What are your thoughts on them as they continue to push forward in really more of an adults kind of professional wrestling, not necessarily TV PG, if we could word it appropriately? What do you think about them?
I mean, I think it's a cool place. I feel like it's difficult for them because of the product that they are producing is what it is, and it's not necessarily family friendly. So they kind of have to find that crowd, that's going to be able to attend those shows and be okay with attending those. Whereas I guess, large in part, traditional wrestling fans, and especially in America, are, families or, general fans. And that's kind of where you are able to, I think, get your bigger crowds coming in. So I think they run into the problem of that, of getting those young adults, who want to see that stuff come in so they can get those bigger crowds. But I mean, the fans that they do have, I mean, they are, wild. They're into it. They're crazy fanatics for AWE, and it's a good time. Like I said, I just think that they're going to have to find a way, to get that product out there more and spread the word and get more people coming in. But like I said, I mean, it's a fun product. It's it's the fans that they do have are extremely loyal and they are into it every single show. So it's always a good time.
And you have to remember, we're talking about a group of fans that actually call themselves the Kool-Aid drinkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And that That's very accurate, man. I mean, because going to an AWE show it's very unlike anything else in Georgia, I would say, especially Georgia.
Yeah, because I do some of the commentary for Josh and Murder over. You and I actually worked together at Show of the Year 3 at Opera.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, Opera's a nice place too.
Oh, dude, I love that place. And do me a favor, Stan, Rob, Brian, let me throw this one at you. I believe I did this earlier when we were back in December when I was talking about the show. We're coming back after the first of the year. Remember the Hammerstein Ballroom that ECW would use? I equate Opera because of the dynamic of the room, the layout of the room, the fact that it's got an understated elegance, but at the same time, it is a balls-to-the-wall nightclub. Opera is a beautiful facility and is great for hosting wrestling. I put that place, physically speaking, not necessarily reputation-wise yet, but physically speaking and the dynamic of the room, I put it on a parallel with the Hammerstein.
Oh, yeah. That's actually the first thing I said was when I walked in. It was I compared it in the same way. I was like, looked around, and I was just like, man, this is nice. And I guess maybe the balcony deal and all that, and having fans up there, is the whole image just reminds me of the Hammerstein. So I'm right there with you.
Stan?
So, I mean, of course, the obvious questions are out there as well. Like, and the first one that popped to mind, when we get up there to Joppa, we saw you and Leo Rush, and it was our first real exposure to MCW Pro. You guys blew us away. There was a guy sitting next to me on my right. When you come out to the ring, you come down the ramp, and he's like, who is this guy? He didn't really know. And that's not necessarily unheard of. I mean, you are making a name for yourself just off of hard work, and I'll just put it to you this way, just spotlight talent. You're just really standing out. What do you think it is that separates you from the pack that gets people talking about you so quickly? Because, I mean, for me, being a brand new fan to MCW Pro, never seen you before that point, and I was blown away. I saw it as just you, like Brian said, there's a fusion. There's the art form, and then there's also the strong style, and then there's kind of the high flyer aspect to it. What would you say that really makes you stand out?
That's tough to say. I think if there's anything that I do that separates me from the pack, is that I have a knack for, I guess, making this come off as being authentic. I feel like I can go out there with anybody and I can make it feel like we're really beating the crap out of each other. And I think that's part of it, in my opinion, is that aspect of it. And it's not even strong. I mean, you can call it strong style, but I mean, I'm not killing anybody. But I think there's a certain art to being able to make it look like I'm killing somebody without doing so. I think that's part of it. I think I have a unique look, in my opinion. I have the tattoos and all that sort of thing, and I was called CM Punk the other day, which was funny. But but then a lot of I come across as this pretty boy as well. So I don't know. I think I have a unique look, and then you combine that with that I'm not necessarily like every other wrestler, style wise. Maybe it's the combination. I really don't know. That's a hard question.
Well, I mean, you've definitely got a style that adapts. It's definitely very adaptive. I mean, you've kind of like Brian mentioned, you got in there with Cedric Alexander, who is a standout talent right now in WWE's Cruiserweight division. Of course, we mentioned it just a few moments ago with Matt Riddle, who there again, totally different type of style. Another friend of the show here, Ethan Case, and also Darius Lockhart, two people that we first saw at the NWA Mid-Atlantic Legends Fest in Charlotte over the past summer. I mean, you've got so many different types of talent. Is there a guy right now that you think brings out the best in you?
Leo Rush is definitely one of them. If I had to name more than just him, I do like working with Matt Riddle. He's another guy. Cedric Alexander definitely was a guy when he was still around. And Jason Kincaid is another guy. Really, we have good chemistry, and we work well together. Those are probably the guys at the top of the list. Yeah.
Speaking of Kincaid, I sat down and watched your Iron Man match with him. Iron Man, your hour-long match.
Sure.
With Kincaid, West Virginia, I think it was.
Yes, sir. West Virginia Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. Now, and I guess that was y'all's second meeting.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that was quite a match. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole hour. How do you prepare yourself for a guy like Kincaid, who was Stan, help me out here. He was, what champion was he for 5+ years?
PWX Champion.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you prepare yourself to go against a legitimate champion in today's wrestling world and be able to pull off the win? And I think at one time you were like 5 pinfalls ahead of him, and you managed to hold on there at the end. How do you just prepare yourself mentally for that?
Man, my psychology on wrestling and the way I approach things, and I think part of the reason why I've kind of gotten where I am is because I've always had the mentality that these guys are my coworkers. They are my peers, but nobody's better than me. And I don't necessarily mean that as like in a literally like nobody's better than me, that I'm the absolute best in the world. But what I mean by that is that I feel like I can go in there with anybody and I can compete with them. I'm not intimidated. I don't get starstruck, and that's coming from, wrestling guys like Roderick Strong and Tommaso Ciampa and, Matt Riddle, all these guys I've had the opportunity to be in the ring with. And I think that was one of the things that has helped me out the most, because oftentimes you will see guys who maybe are not as recognized as some of these bigger stars, and they get in the ring with them and they get psyched out and intimidated by them and whatever, and they just don't perform up to standards as they could normally perform. But I've never been that way, and that's just always been how I've been. And I actually like the CM Punk documentary that WWE produced, years ago. There was one line that always stood out to me, and was that I think it was Michael Hayes, and he was talking about Punk, and he said, Punk was not always the best in the world, but he always believed he was the best in the world. And that stood out to me, that he had the confidence, that no matter what happened, he was in your face and he was going to prove that he could do it. And, I'm the same attitude here. It doesn't matter who I'm in there with. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to perform the way I always do. So that would be it, man. That's my mentality.
So, one of the moves that you do very well, by the way, is the vertebraker. Well, better known as the vertebraker to some. I know that you have dubbed it differently. You're working with Leo Rush and Joppa not too long ago, and you were getting ready for what looked like doing that from the top rope. Now, I apologize for ignorance, but I got to ask you, is just the mark in me here. Have you ever done that from the top rope, and how the hell does that get done without somebody getting killed?
No, I have not done it. It has not been successfully completed from the top rope, avalanche style. But at the time in the match, he had already. That's kind of my thing, man. That's my move, and he kicked out of it. So what else was I gonna do? I could try to hit him with another one, or I could just go big and do it from a higher location. And I tried that, and unfortunately, it didn't work out the best for me. But had I done it, I don't think he would have been moving or kicking out, right?
I definitely would agree with you on that. How important is it to you to be interactive with your fans online? I know just from experience, you're very interactive. You do Facebook Live, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook. How much meaning does that have to be able to interact on a direct level?
I think it's very important. I think, so the way guys, like Sammy Callahan for one, he always talks about this, and that's, building your brand, right? So standing out from the pack, creating your own thing. And I think part of that is definitely keeping in touch with the fans. And, if I like a celebrity, and I'm not one to like celebrities and like go crazy over anybody really, but a lot of people do. And if I like an actor or a singer or something like that, and I meet them and they're a total douche to me and, don't have the time of day for me, am I really going to want to buy their shirts and their photos? Am I even really going to want to listen to the music anymore? Me personally, I wouldn't want to. So I look at it as kind of building your own brand. So you want to get as many fans as possible. You want to get your name out as much as possible and get as much buzz about you. And the only way you're going to do that is by interacting with as many different people as possible and have as many different people see you and talk about you. And wrestling is a business, and we all want to make money doing it. It's our dream job, or we wouldn't be doing it. And so that's what you have to do. So it's very important, for sure.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Well, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to break out, which, some people say that this year is going to be my year, and we'll see what happens there. And by breakout, I don't necessarily goals are subjective, right? So somebody's goal might be, to be a college professor or something, right? While somebody else might be a doctor making over $100,000 a year. Goals are subjective. It's all about what you personally feel is your actual goal. And for me, I don't know exactly what that is, but it is more than what I'm doing right now. So maybe that, for me, that could be, touring Japan. It could be going to Europe. It could be, getting an Evolve contract or something like that, and being a mainstay there. Maybe I'd be happy with that. But I'll put it this way. In 2 years, I will be 35 years old. I'm 32 now. So, and I'll be 33 in December. So by the time I get to the point where I'm 35 years of age, if I have not broken out, I'm done. And a lot of people say that, but that's where I put the limit at. That's my stopping point. I've dedicated many years to this, and like I said, I don't count until 2012, but I'm not getting any younger either. We're going to hope for the best. We're going to hope that, everybody's talking about me later this year and everything goes awesome. And if so, I'll keep on going, man. I'll see how far I can take it. But if not, I'll just quietly, hang up my boots and I'll go hang out with my daughter and my dogs, and I'll do that. So to answer the question, though, hopefully in 5 years I'll be one of the top names. You know what I'm saying, on the Indies, or hopefully even in Japan. Maybe I'll be a big star there. That'd be the ultimate goal.
I can see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. You definitely. I gotta say, I'm blown away constantly by the amount of people that are working on the regional and the independent scene, and not just there, but also seeing how Evolve has grown from internet pay-per-view to now a major player with FlowSlam TV. It's got to feel good for you to be able to do what you're doing at various points, but also to have it broadcast worldwide.
Oh yeah, and the thing about that is that I've been working for PWX since about 2012, which is when I said that I started kind of taking things more seriously. And PWX is, it draws a lot of people. I mean, we get, the last show was, about 1,000 people. And the show before that was 1,000 people, and before that, I don't know, 500, whatever. So it's a big show as far as, crowd standards go. But the difference is, it is on High Spots Network, so it is streaming, but it's not live. FlowSlam is a whole different animal. Being on the WWN stuff, the Style Battle, the FIP, and the Evolve stuff, everybody's watching that stuff, and everybody, it seems that an indie wrestling fan has a subscription, and so new eyes are constantly on you. I'm constantly, after the shows, you go and check, your phone, and social media is blowing up about you. hopefully in a good way. And yeah, man, it's crazy, and it is gratifying for me because I never thought I'd wrestle at Evolve. You know, not that I didn't think I could, but I just never thought it would happen. I was one of those guys who was like, we'll see what happens. You know, I'll go with the flow, and you know, here I am now, and I'm wrestling for them on a constant basis, and you know, it's crazy.
Rob?
Stan, Brian.
Oh, you got a question, Rob? Go on, ask.
What's it like to work the different federations? Because, you know, like, a lot of what our wrestling fans know of are the people who work for just one place. And I'm kind of seeing it with Cody Rhodes doing the opposite of what everybody, expects. Is everybody expects, everybody goes to that magical place in Florida or wherever, and then, but Cody Rhodes is getting a bigger name for himself, I feel, going to the different places. As a guy who goes to the different federations, how is it to work at the different places compared to maybe being in one place for an extended period of time?
Well, I think that in the current state of wrestling, I feel like you don't have to have that final destination necessarily if you don't want to. I think, and again, this is always subjective, rather. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's a person-to-person thing. But I mean, if you can make money on just simply indie wrestling, and going around and traveling, like Sammy Callahan, I know for one, is a guy who's crazy happy with the fact that he gets to travel all over the place and wrestle all these different places, and he's making money. He's having the time of his life. I know that. He's having crazy matches everywhere he goes, and obviously that's something he couldn't do in Florida. Not saying he won't go back, but I mean, maybe that's his end goal. But right now, I know he's having fun doing what he's doing. Cody Rhodes seems to be the same way. So I don't feel like you necessarily have to go there to be considered a success at all. Indie wrestling's blown up, man. I mean, over 5 years ago, I mean, the number of wrestling companies on an indie level that were drawing the kinds of crowds that they're drawing now, I mean, had to be, minuscule, right? But now there's so many different good places that you can go on an indie level. So I don't think you have to go there at all. Now, if we get into a different element of that same question, is that the one thing about going to the same place over and over is that you do get that fan base, and you get to have a connection with those crowds. Whereas if you're traveling all the time and they see you for the first time, obviously that's going to be a little bit harder to do. What a lot of guys do now, though, is they have maybe 5-6 places that they wrestle for on a normal basis. So they're still building that fan base, but they're also still just getting around and wrestling wherever they can. So it's a good time to be in indie wrestling, man, for real.
Well, I know we went to MCW, and it was the first time I think that I'd been that we'd been up there, and just the caliber of the show and the way you handled the crowd, it was like it's like you're there all the time. So I have to applaud you on that.
Thank you.
So one of those you have to pick one moments. Favorite match. What inspired you overall to get into wrestling?
If I have to pick one, I would say Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, Iron Man, WrestleMania 12.
Seems that it's interesting because regardless of what level a person is at, whether they're at the top and they're main eventing pay-per-view, or they're just starting out, there's this specific set of matches that wrestlers go to as this is what got me into it. Is it because of the crowd response? Is it because of the complete story, or just the style? What is it that you think draws them to that? Because I think I mean, it's there's Steamboat Savage, there's Michaels and Hart at the Iron Man match, there's Michaels and Ramon at WrestleMania 10 in the ladder match. There's these set matches that just bring it out of people. What do you think it is that draws them?
I think that like wrestling fans, they like who they like, and obviously Shawn Michaels was a guy who was a very popular guy, but he wasn't Hulk Hogan. But wrestlers, on the other hand, workers, it's a whole different story because the guys that we like aren't always necessarily, the top guys that from the general fan standpoint. Shawn Michaels is a guy who I could probably name, over 25 guys off the top of my head that like he's their favorite wrestler ever, and I'm one of those guys. And I think more than anything, I respected the style and just how good Shawn Michaels was and how good Bret Hart was, but especially Shawn. Shawn was my dude, and so I think that match in particular, him winning the belt, the whole story they told throughout the entirety of that match, just the whole thing is what got me.
Now, aside from yourself, who is the next big thing, the guy that's going to be, in your opinion, get caught up and make it to the quote-unquote big time?
I think there's a few guys who definitely have a chance of that happening. Keith Lee's a guy, man. If you guys have seen him, man, he does some crazy things, and I think he's extremely talented. Keith Lee's a guy who's wrestling and Evolve now and blowing up all over the place. I think he's a guy that's going to be there. David Starr is a guy who just keeps getting better and better, and he's constantly.
Oh yeah, the product David Starr.
Oh yeah. And I know he's constantly doing these tours in Europe, man. Every time he comes back, he's, just way better. And he has charisma. He has the whole package. And so he's another guy. So Keith Lee, David Starr, who else? Those are the two main ones off the top of my head, There's probably some other guys that I can name, but those are the top two off the top of my head.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Sure.
A little fantasy here.
Okay.
If you could show up anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would it be, and who would you want to feud against?
Oh, man. Well, I would say that would be New Japan Pro Wrestling, because that would be the place that I like. If there is an end destination for me, that's where I want my end destination to be. So New Japan Pro Wrestling. And as far as who I'd feud with, man, there's so many good guys there. But maybe I think I'd do well with NATO.
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like our styles, I don't know. I feel like it would work.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I could say that what everybody else would say would be Okada, but I feel like me and NATO would be like a better combination stylistic.
Right. Yeah, that would be an interesting story to be told, I think. Huh.
That's a good question, though. That's a good one.
You feel safe in saying that right now we could actually be in another golden age for wrestling?
I think so. Because and the thing about it is that we live in a different time, man, where people talk about the ratings and stuff like that. But the thing is, man, ratings are totally different now. It's a totally different thing now because you have the ability to TiVo it or whatever. You could watch it later. You have internet. You have Hulu. You have all these things. So it's not like you have to watch Raw or SmackDown, right now while it's going on live anymore. So I think the ratings are not necessarily obsolete. But I don't think they tell the whole story. And that's just WWE. But if you're talking about wrestling as a whole, New Japan's doing awesome. You have all of the indies is doing crazy. And there's a thing now, like I said, for the indies. Guys really, really know these indie guys. And I know that was a thing that kind of started back in, in the 2000s with ECW and then as Ring of Honor came about. But it's like tenfold now, Indie wrestlers are stars now. It's not just the WWE guys anymore. And so I think wrestling is definitely in a great point right now, great position. And I think if you want to make money in pro wrestling, you don't necessarily have to be in WWE to do so. I think you can do it on the indie level. So it's definitely a good time to be a pro wrestler in the business.
So you stay incredibly busy. You're all over the place, at least as far as the East Coast and course, on the West. What do you got coming up in the next few weeks?
Actually, this next week is going to be one of those weekends. It's a light load. I only have a show Saturday, and that's the Cynic City Rumble, which Cynic City Invitational. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should do so. It's a tournament that they've done for the last 2 years, and this will be the third year. And last year, the finals was actually, it had Chris Hero, Jimmy Ray, myself, and a guy named Gunnar Miller in it. And that show was great. Had people coming actually, even like as far as from Canada, to come see this tournament. And yeah, but if you could check it out, it's a great deal. Great tournament to see. Actually, me and Leo Rush, since you guys saw the second match, the first match that actually had everybody going crazy about us actually happened last year in the opening round. So the day one of the Cynic City Invitational. Yeah, so I have that coming up. It's the Cynic City Rumble, which is like, this is the first year that they've kind of put together. It's like the Royal Rumble to their WrestleMania, I guess, So I'll have that. I'll go chill with my girlfriend's family and stuff because they're up that way. And then the week after that, we'll be pretty busy, actually. I'll be, there's a new show, Generation Next Wrestling, which will be in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm in a four-way with Zachary Wentz, James, Rude Boy Riley, and Ace Perry. So I'll have that going on. And then, let's see, the next night, geez, I have to look at my calendar. I don't even know. One second. Let me pull this bad boy up.
Folks, it's legit how busy this man stays. Every other day I see another tweet from him where he's headed to another location. When he went to PWX, I mean, he did a Facebook Live while he's on the road to get to the event, just talking about his journey to get to there and talking about all the places that he's been. It blows me away, man, how busy you stay.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the way you have to be now, especially if you want to, break out and do something, you have to go everywhere you can. But yeah, I just pulled it up. I have YB Wrestle the next day, and then after that will be actually the Style Battle, which will be on the 12th of March.
That's got to be my most favorite thing from Flow Slam lately is the Style Battle tournaments. The first one got me hooked, and then of course, you saw I was tweeting you the whole time I was watching it with your matches with Conley and with Tracer X, who, honest to God, I had never seen this guy before, but your matchup with him blew me away. The story you guys told with both of you having to come from adversity, getting beat up on the outside before you could even get to the finals, which I actually thought that they were going to try to pull it so that you guys weren't able to go to the finals, which would have been an interesting swerve, but I was glad you had the finals because that matchup was awesome. I really love the dynamic of what they do.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's different. Not everybody loves it, but I'm glad you do. And actually, I said I have that, but there's a possibility I won't be on that. I'm still trying to get on that because, I got to get – I've done two of these things now, and I've yet to get the win in the finals of the tournament. So I'm hoping to be part of the third one, and then from there, of course, go into the finals of the whole thing. But yeah, Style Battle, it's a cool concept. I like it personally, but it's new, and I think it's different, right? So everything can't always be the same, and I like the one night tournament every single show. It's a cool deal.
Now, for the record, I'll expand on something Stan said just a few minutes ago. If you ever get tired of his tweets, just let one of the other members of Corner know, and we'll make them stop.
Oh, no, man. If I can retweet something, especially if it's positive, if I can retweet something, somebody sees it, man, and we get more retweets. Like I said, that's what I go back to earlier, man. It's all about building that brand, and if more people see my name out there, you know what I mean? Like, that's good for me. And I appreciate the support anyway. So I love seeing these things.
You see, Brian, he appreciates it. He doesn't take part in your reindeer games, sir. In your shenanigans.
But that's today. Wait for 2 or 3 more weeks when it becomes obvious on how obsessive you are. and we'll see what happens.
Jeez, you're gonna make him think I'm some kind of wrestling stalker.
We'll
I'm
stand
your
that.
biggest
You
fan,
are.
Anthony. I'm your biggest.
Hey, there are. I will say there's some weird wrestling fans. I have some. I've
Well,
had some.
and-
There are some weird ones. Not saying you
What's
are,
the
but
worst one you run into?
you know, it's just it's not even necessarily like that I've ran into them. It's just the way they act, and they'll add you on social media, and they will message you, and then if you don't reply, they message you again and again and again and again, or they just ask random questions about what's going on wherever you're wrestling, and and then some of them want to buy your used gear, and I don't know.
Stan just takes it.
Yeah.
No, but it sounds like you've had a run-in with an old co-host of mine.
I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, man. I don't understand it myself, just because. Yes, I'm in it, but I've never been that way about like I said, anything, celebrities, movie stars, musicians. I've never been one to be like, hey, send me an autograph or anything like that. So maybe it's just me being me, and I don't get it. But to me, I've had some weird interactions.
Well, and I'm sure we're coming up on it, but I do want to ask this because it just happened last night. Without getting direct, opinions on specific people, what are your thoughts about when fans reach over and try to break that barrier and start putting their hands on the talent when you're trying to work?
Depends. It depends. I put it this way: if somebody was trying to physically harm me, I'm gonna protect myself. So, I say that's definitely not a good idea. I say never do it, in my opinion. If it's one of those things where you're slapping them on the back or something, and they're a baby face, and you're supporting them, maybe that's one thing. Or if we go over the barrier and you're trying to help the baby face up and get back in the ring or something, maybe that's one thing. But I guess it depends on the situation. But if it's a heated moment and the fan is throwing something at them, or something that's going to put them in harm's way, not such a good idea, because we're out there trying to work. It's our job. We're trying, and if you are the heel, you're trying to piss the fans off. That's what you're supposed to do. And to some degree, I think the fans need to understand that this is it's like watching a movie. So you're not gonna get upset at a movie at a movie theater. You're not gonna freaking throw a bottle or something through the screen, right? Because you're gonna have to pay for that. So I think it's the same thing. You're gonna have to pay for it. It might be in a hospital bill. That's my opinion on it.
Well, I mean, I think it's unanimous. Don't touch the talent unless you're supposed to.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even imagine there are refs that will just literally destroy you if you get too close to even a ref. And I mean, the ref should be the most harmless one out of the whole group, but I imagine some of them will probably even destroy you. So.
Oh yeah, sure, man. I mean, we're working out there, so you let us work and enjoy. You can yell, you can scream, you can do whatever you want to do. Just don't touch us.
And don't throw stuff.
And definitely don't, especially if it's hard. If it's like a glass bottle or something. Yeah, I mean, if it's toilet paper, that's one thing.
Oh, like a full can of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different story. So if it's something that's coming at my head and it's going to hurt me, I'm going to probably try to hurt you. So just keep that in mind. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
Which, Stan, that normally means, yes, you still need to duck if you see a streamer roll thrown at you.
Well, that I was just about to ask him, because I know some wrestlers absolutely hate those streamers getting thrown in the ring, and some of them live it. It's like the best thing ever. You'd think it was better than sex for them. What's your stance on that? Do you prefer it? Do you hate it?
I like it, actually. I feel it's like just a sign of respect from the fans if they're throwing them, and I like it. I think it's a cool thing. It doesn't bother me at all. They actually threw when I won the PWX title, there was everybody threw streamers in the ring at the end. I thought it was very cool.
Well, I got to tell you, man, this has been, first off, time has flown by as we've been going through this, and I absolutely knew it would because of just how personable you are. But thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about your work, man. We really are big fans of what you do. We definitely appreciate you. Where can fans find you on social media?
Yeah, so on social media, pretty much everything is the same. It's Anthony Henry, which is what you asked me about before we started, if that was my name or not. No, so that was a nickname they called me back in high school and stuff, and some people still do, but I've always used it as everything. So it's Anthony Henry, Antny. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter via that username. So those are the main ones. I don't really use the Snapchat too much.
Yeah, wrestling and Snapchat right today at least isn't necessarily the best mix. Just talk.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do it, but I never really got into it. So.
I don't really understand the craze for it myself. I mean, you got the pictures and filters and all that jazz, and I guess it's exciting, but not for me. I could do without.
Yeah, to me, it's the same thing as Instagram. I like Instagram better, so.
Well, Mr. Henry, we definitely appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If there's ever anything you would love us here at the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, and of course Corner to Corner, to help you out in any way possible that we can.
Hey, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me on, and for the continued support. Man, you guys are awesome.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
All right, you too, man. Peace out.
Folks, there you go. The PWX World Champion, Anthony Henry. Man, what an outstanding interview. That flew by. We blew through our top of the hour. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here and come back. We'll talk about Fastlane and a little bit of kind of a recap. Thanks again for sticking with us. We'll be right back here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Corner to Corner, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. We're live on Corner to Corner. Just finished talking to PWX World Champ Anthony Henry, or Anthony, depending on how you know him.
Can I chime
Mr.
in
Henry,
for just a second, Stan?
Absolutely.
Just 1 second. Ish, that was a good interview.
Okay, 135.36. You just can't let me go 1 week, especially when I've had a bad week, haven't you?
Hey, I was on my best behavior for that man. For a champion, I was on good behavior, and he left. It's all back to the way it should be now.
Yeah,
back to business. All right. Well, we're. Hey, Eddie,
yes.
Buddy, too sweet me, bro.
Too sweet.
That was a mother. Good. Oh,
I'm tired of these effing snakes. All right, so let's get down to it. We are headed to Fastlane. The road to WrestleMania has one more stop.
Brass tacks.
That's right. We've got WWE Fastlane, the Raw brand pay-per-view, coming up this Sunday, March 5th. We will, of course, be broadcasting, as Eddie likes to put it, in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 type avenue. I kind of like that description. I think that's an adequate way of describing how we do it. Of course, you could say that's how we do it all the time anyway. But whatever. So let's do the rundown of the card here. We're going to do our predictions, talk a little about maybe why we think the way we think. So we'll start at the bottom of the card. The rumored starting matchup or opening matchup, there we go, is Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn. Now, it has not been announced officially yet, but guys, if this gets added to the card, one, I think it could be match of the night, and two, I would be very, very surprised if it goes last longer than maybe 10 minutes.
bye, Sammy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say bye, Sammy, as well. But I think it'll go. Somebody will have to throw in the white towel. I think Foley will come out and finally he'll toss it in there for Sammy.
Dear God, leave Sammy alone. He's got kids.
He's got a family, by God.
I guess this has potential for being one of the first true possible 5-star matches for the year for them.
Well, I mean, and it's no surprise that there'll be Sami Zayn involved.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, last year Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura just tore the house down, and they stole it for the year. In my opinion, that was got to be. It still stands out as one of the best matches. Maybe in the last decade.
Yeah, I would say for the WWE.
So we go from Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, and I think Samoa Joe's going to win. I think it's unanimous. Eddie, do you think that's going to happen?
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, who you got?
Joe.
It's really not a question anymore. All right, so the next matchup on the card, Tag Team Championship, the Club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson defending against the realest guys in the room, Big Cass and Enzo, or Enzo and Big Cass. Rob, who you got first?
The Club.
The Club. Brian?
I think the Club wins.
Club wins. Eddie?
I'm going to withhold final judgment until next week. I'm just going to go ahead and preface and probably tip my hand by giving this one. Gallows and Anderson has been the most underutilized, misappropriated team that they've had in WWE in the last 5 years. The only thing that they've had worse than the way that they've handled them is the factor of how the Dudley Boys jobbed to the New Day in 3 minutes just before their retirement.
Good point. I think it would be a little soon to have Enzo and Cass win the titles, although I can see that that's what they're trying to gear them for. Honestly, it would be very soon to take the belts off of the Club, but as Eddie just mentioned, stranger things have happened, and it's not like they've treated the Club with a whole lot of respect. I'll have to keep the ball rolling and say the Club, though.
They actually have to find... they were hoping Balor would be healthy by now, and it's not working. Balor made an appearance recently, but he also said on the microphone that he has not been medically cleared. So I'll be willing to bet you right now, unless something extreme happens, and I don't mean Paul Heyman, unless something extreme happens, Gallows and Anderson will be gone 1 month after Mania. They'll be gone by the beginning of May. Which sucks.
Well, I sure hope they don't let them get out the door. That would really suck. But hey, Kenny Omega could use some buddies out there in New Japan. I'm sure he wouldn't mind seeing his old friends come on by.
And he got plenty of buddies, though.
And
he does.
The non-compete agreement that Gallows and Anderson would have had to sign to be hooked into WWE, unless it is specifically stipulated, it does not apply to Japan.
No, and they can thank one Brock Lesnar for that little amendment to contracts. Brock Lesnar, when he left WWE back in 2004, did a brief stint in Japan, and they attempted to keep him from working over there, but they failed because it wasn't in the contract. And ever since then, they haven't been able to get away with it yet. So let's move back up the card here. Cruiserweight Championship. No. Let me stop there and go back down to one. Women's Championship. Bayley defending the Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte. I'll start off this time. I think, honestly, I think they might let Bayley keep it going into Mania. Brian?
I'm kind of torn. I think you might be right, because I think somewhere along the way, it'll be Nia Jax that beats Bayley, and they'll leave Nia versus Charlotte for a much bigger venue. I'll probably go with Bayley at this time.
Rob, what do you think?
You never bet against the queen on the PPV.
Hmm.
Just because they have touted this whole, I got a perfect record at a pay-per-view, I don't see them, her coming out and not winning at this point.
Eddie, what do you think?
Give me 500 on the Bandit.
You son
Okay.
bi- Oh.
Oh, that was close, buddy. That was close. Almost like I had an itch.
I want to take a quick detour here.
Wait, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
Undefeated streak, guys. Go ahead.
Let me get this one in, because Big Enos Burdett makes the comment about, hey, after they completed the run with the Coors and they laid out the challenge, well, Charlotte's undefeated on the pay-per-views, so I hate to say that that's going to put her in the realm of Bo Darvel. I hate it when that happens. Give me 500 on the Bandit. Charlotte gets the belt back, and I don't know what the hell they're going to do at Mania. If Bayley actually keeps the belt without outside interference, maybe this could be the heel turn we've been waiting on for Sasha.
Or maybe it's a heel turn for Bayley.
I see Sasha turning on Bayley, but here's the thing: in typical Charlotte, what they've done with her so far, she could win it at Fastlane and then lose it again on Monday, because she loses it on Monday. She doesn't lose it on Sunday. She wins it on Sunday. So she beats Bayley. Bayley gets a rematch on Monday.
How many times has Charlotte held the women's title now?
3.
You sure it's only 3?
I think it's more than that.
Do you realize that at the rate they're going, she'll have reached 16 by the 4th of July?
Now, does that cheapen it? You know what I mean?
To happen that quickly, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
Each title reign lasts for a stand.
Oh. And that's
that-
hot second, buddy.
But see, then later in life, she could sit at Comic-Con next to her dad and be like, "He's the 16-time world champion. I'm the 48-time women's champion."
I don't know why you gotta be so negative. You just bed for the queen
negative.
and making fun of her.
I'm not making fun of her.
So here's something that Rob mentioned: the undefeated streak that Charlotte has had on pay-per-view. No, on Raw. No, pay-per-view. Yeah, pay-per-view. That's what it is. Damn it! I saw a statistic, and I saw some comments on social media. Did you guys realize that Asuka is 159-0 at this point, and is very quickly coming up on the 178-0 that one Bill Goldberg had at one point?
And that would actually be the
There's
number
a difference. Go ahead, sorry.
That would be the number of restraining orders that she has placed against Mark Mabo Bowman from Beyond Ringside Live.
Has she had that many matches?
There again, I would have to question the count, because I would say I don't think she has.
Yeah, because I don't even think Goldberg had that many matches. I'm pretty sure there were some Phantom matches in there.
Well, the difference is her matches were higher quality.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, sometimes Goldberg's would jump by some crazy number, and you only had 3 days separating the last tally, and it went up by 5 or 6 numbers. It was
that's
that's
when he got in those thumb wrestling tournaments on the bus.
My name is Bill Goldberg, thumb wrestling champion of the world.
1, 2, 3, sneak attack, I win, ha!
And Eric, that counts for the streak. All right, what you got next? Who's next?
All right, next up for the Cruiserweight Championship, having won the number one contender spot in a fatal 5-way on 205 Live, our favorite, Jack Gallagher, challenges Adrian Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Eddie, who you got?
Say that one more time.
Gallagher, and Neville.
I think it's Gallagher.
I'd like to see Broadway on this one and let them continue.
I kind of like that. Rob?
Gallagher.
Okay, and Brian?
I think Neville.
Much as I would like to see the English gentleman win, I have a feeling that they have solidified the throne for Mr. Neville, and he's going to go into WrestleMania as champ. Next up, in a grudge match, Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns.
Who cares?
I was just about to say, now rather than picking a winner, let's make this interesting. Let's see if we can do what they can't. How long before the fans start chanting boring? Ryan.
I don't think they're going to chant boring. I think they'll start chanting for Strowman, just like they have in the past. He is starting to build up a following, as far as the people chanting. I think the chants by the end of the match for Strowman will be far greater than Roman Reigns.
Wow. Rob?
I think it's going to be the match that they come out right before and say, hey, don't forget to visit our merchandise stands.
Eddie?
Your parting gift is a quote from Damien Sandow. Ignorance is curable, but stupid is forever.
And that's what this match is.
Yeah, I can't see how this match is of interest to anybody. Although I would have to agree with Brian, even though I'm not a huge fan of the guy, Strowman is drawing a reaction every time he comes out to the ring. And it's getting bigger. He could, hard as it is to believe, he could actually be their next big man to be the champ.
Please tell me you're joking, ma'am.
I wish. Don't you know I wish. All right, so the main event. This one should, for a lot of different reasons, it got a lot of different things going after this matchup into WrestleMania that could really change how that card looks. We've got Bill Goldberg with his championship opportunity challenging Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship. Now, Owens have it from Chris Jericho, beating the crap out of him on television, throwing him through a television. I mean, he's on a roll. His newly reinvigorated heel turn is definitely drawing attention. Goldberg has the fan support. It seems like they want to build it for Goldberg as champion versus Lesnar. My fear would be that it would get back to how it was at WrestleMania 20 and the crowd craps all over it. Start with Rob. Rob, who do you think wins this one? All right, Rob, that was astute. Thanks.
That would be crickets. Crickets.
I didn't hear you. You broke up.
Well, no. I mean, technically, after one date, that's not a breakup.
Oh, you evil dick.
Oh!
You evil dick.
You cannot break up what never existed.
Oh.
Thank you, Llama.
Wow. You waited until 10:50 freaking 1.
No whack at the pee-pee.
Nuts on the air.
No whack at the pee-pee.
I can't help it. Sometimes it just comes to me, and I gotta let it out.
Dirty whore.
That's a Jim's entire world.
Rob, Goldberg, Kevin Owens, who wins?
Feelings, nothing more than feelings. I think they're setting it up. It's going to be, as much as we don't want it to see the part-time title, The title's going to Goldberg till Mania. It's going to be Lesnar versus Goldberg, and then it'll be Owens versus Jericho.
Eddie.
Oops.
What do you think, buddy? Who wins this matchup?
Okay, I am going to abstain at this point, and I'm going to bring up because I'm going to go long form on this one, so I'm going to wait till Sunday on Beyond Ringside Live for mine. But I will leave you with this parting thought.
Fine. We're not good enough for your answer. It's okay.
Yes, that is a midget between my legs.
Well then, Brian.
I am actually going to go with Kevin Owens because I think they see the importance of Owens versus Jericho at WrestleMania for a title as opposed to Goldberg having the title, losing it to Brock, and then Goldberg disappearing because you won't have a third match with them. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't think Goldberg lasts past WrestleMania. So then there won't be no big payoff match for, a rematch if Goldberg has the title. So I think it'll be Owens keeps the title by hook or by crook, and you'll get Owens versus Jericho for the world title at WrestleMania.
So do you think Brock comes down and costs Goldberg the match?
I don't think Brock would come down and cost him the match. I think it would be Jericho that comes down and interferes, and the match ends on a disqualification or a count out, or maybe they are still best friends and Jericho sacrificed himself so they could get through this Goldberg match, or I think Owens will walk away with it. Plus, we all know how Goldberg wrestles these true wrestlers. Owens will make them look stupid.
It's interesting to me the seemingly the direction that WWE has taken with Goldberg, because while the nostalgia is cool, it's fun, it's we liked Goldberg back in the day, but once it got to the point where instead of a grudge match, now it's a possible title match, that's where it got a little clouded and got a little bit uncomfortable because of the fact that it really does or doesn't do any favors for Kevin Owens. So, I would say I want to see Kevin Owens retain, but my gut says they're going to go ahead and put the title on Goldberg and have him defend against Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see it happen because I'm afraid that the matchup is already going to end up being a repeat of what WrestleMania 20 was. And if for a title, I think that hurts your overall product. But maybe Brian's right. Maybe he's right, and WWE sees the writing on the wall and sees more money even, with a title match between Owens and Chris Jericho, and not for the U.S. title, but for the title.
To me, Goldberg and Lesnar don't need a title. All they need to do is go in there and beat the snot out of each other, and not screw me over like you did the last time they got in the ring together, you rotten little. There's another one for you, Eddie. I'm sorry, but I'm still hurt by that minute and 30-some-odd second match. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to see them go for a title. I just want to see them go in there and beat the tar out of each other, because this is how many years in the making. Go finish the feud. Go. You're not fighting for nothing. Because A, I don't need to see the world title on a part-timer. And B, Goldberg's not going to stick around long enough to make his title run meaningful. Because you know as well as I do, there is not going to be any build-up between Fastlane and WrestleMania if Goldberg has a title. They're not going to get close to each other for a month. And so what does the world title do for that type of feud? It does absolutely nothing. So Stanford, if you're listening, do the right thing and let Kevin Owens win.
Yeah, I got to say that to me, it's dangerous once you start flirting with that whole concept of, Goldberg being your champion and potentially, I mean, of course, the end result is going to be Brock, but potentially being the face of your brand, even if it's a short term, you put yourself at risk, and that kind of money loss, in my opinion, is just not something you want to risk. So I have to agree. I mean, I hope that they don't go that direction. I'm still kind of a Goldberg fan, so it'd be cool in the moment. But after that moment passes, and business comes back to back down to earth, you're stuck, and it just doesn't help really anybody involved. I don't think it does any good. I agree with Brian. It doesn't do any good for Goldberg or for Brock to have the title on them because of the fact that they're most likely going to be, well, with Brock's case, on sabbatical for another few months after Mania. For Goldberg, he's probably done after that point, which, hey, he deserves to retire on a high note. Nothing wrong with that, but doesn't necessarily need another title run.
Plus two, real quick. This match, if you're going to have Goldberg win, it has to be a traditional Goldberg match, which means it's going to last 5 minutes or less. So then what are you going to do to your biggest star on Raw to have him lose to Goldberg within 5 minutes? He's not going to have the stamina to go past 5 minutes, especially wrestling a match with Kevin Owens. So
yeah, I mean, Kevin Owens is just, as far as how he performs and the pace. I mean, I don't want to insult Bill Goldberg, but I honestly don't think he could keep pace with them.
Yeah.
I agree there. So next week, Corner to Corner will be live, and we will be entertaining the masses with our play-by-play commentary for Fastlane. We'll be going through match by match. We will be starting live at 9 p.m., so we'll be bringing you up to speed if you're just getting in from work. But if you're getting tired of hearing commentary from Michael Cole and Byron Saxton, we kind of like Corey Graves, so he's all right. But if you're getting kind of tired of hearing from them, why don't you put your TV on mute and listen to us? We'll be happy to bring it on home for you right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. It's going to be a lot of fun. Eddie, I'm sure, will have his news and notes and zingers. Rob will be there with his, of course, insatiable wit and desire to embarrass me. And Brian unknowingly will some letter word into the mix.
And isn't that what you listen for? That little foul word that I slip in there. Isn't it? Isn't it?
Why you gotta say I'm the one that always makes fun of you? I didn't say anything about you tonight.
Oh, that's not true, buddy. I'm pretty sure you started it.
No, sir.
Well, I don't know. Stan Slam gets more violent every week, and it hurts. It breaks my heart.
Stop the insanity.
I know. Stop it. Put the drinks down.
Hey, Stan.
Yes, sir.
If you really think that there's any chance of it stopping anytime soon,
but I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Damn you, King Barrett. Damn you to heck. Sorry.
As we stand and give the Queen's wave.
The Queen's wave.
We should mention that Austin Aries will probably go to 205 when he returns here shortly. I believe he's already cut the promo for it.
That's going to be a good one. Can you imagine him and Cedric Alexander, him and Rich Swann, him and Jack Gallagher? Just Neville, of course. As it goes on and on, it's going to be a good one. Yep. TJ Perkins.
Yep.
It's going to be some good ones. So, final thoughts. Let's go ahead and give our social media stuff out there. Let the folks know where they can find us. Rob, where can they find you?
Right here. They can find me on Facebook as Rob Hefner, Twitter as @RobHefner, and original. So, yes, Instagram, RDHUWP, and the rest of it, yeah, I'm just around.
Brian, where can they catch you, sir?
I'm not falling for this. I have a streak of about 1 year plus.
Wow.
You can find Brian on his MySpace page at Hot Spanky Pants.
Why? All right, so first I talked about my nuts, and now you're talking about my spanky pants. Is there something you want to come out and tell the listening audience, Rob? I'm going to give you that opportunity.
Are you admitting that you have spanky pants?
Yeah.
Rob? Hey,
Brian wears spanky
Rob's
pants.
got to admit his desire for me.
No, maybe I was just taking this opportunity for the world to know so you can, like, get healing. So, because the first step
I'm
to
not
recovery
healing, bud.
is acceptance.
I talked about peanuts. Rob talks about nuts. There's a difference. There is a difference.
Eddie?
Don't give it to him. Don't give it to him, Stan. Don't give him my ass.
Ed, where can they find you?
Because I always give it wrong. You got to give it. I tried one time and y'all chastised me for giving my real one out.
Gave your home address. Eddie, where can they find you?
What is Brian word that we're going to give out the M4M69 in DC name again?
Well,
and that's how you do it without going blue. Like Stan's balls on a Saturday night.
Oh, hey.
You cut out there at the first part. All I heard was balls on a Saturday night. What was the first word again?
Oh, that means you missed the other part where we actually gave out your real Twitter address, M4M69 in DC?
I'm not. You're going too fast. I have to write that down.
Words that Brian has heard all the time.
Would you like to borrow some crayons?
No, actually, he would need water-soluble magic markers. That way he can turn around and deny that anything ever existed.
Yeah. Take your helmet off. You can hear
y'all
better.
Are killing me. I need to go take some meds and go to bed.
Take your helmet off. You can hear better.
Oh, Lord, there was a good one I really wanted to use right now. But I'm not going to say it. I'm going to save it for next time.
Well, since my helmet's a little rubbery and stretchery.
And probably 3 sizes too big.
Show up at your place.
3 sizes too big, huh?
It's ribbed for his pleasure.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. For me personally, the home site is FastEddieLane.com. Stan?
Thank you, sir. Brian can be found at STRCP21 on the Twitter. I can be found at Stan from Krypton. I'm on Facebook as well. Corner to Corner C2C radio show on Twitter. Corner to Quarter on Instagram. And we're on Facebook, of course, at the Corner to Corner radio show as well. Corner2cornerwrestling.com. And if you want to send email complaints, comments, gripes, or bitches, send them to Rob, because he'll be the one that listens to them. We will see you next week right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network for Fastlane. Thanks again for listening and joining us for the awesome interview with Anthony Henry. And thanks again for listening. Have a great night, everybody.
And if you're not paying attention to Anthony Henry, you might want to take a hit out your ass.
Amen to that.